I say pay attention.
News from across the NFL and the Minnesota Vikings in association with VikeFans.com. With your hosts.
Like I picked the wrong week to quit drinking.
The Lockstar Al Hiram.
Did you eat a lot of pink chips when you were a kid? Why?
And Jason the Beast Barrow.
They think he's a righteous dude.
That was awesome. Oh boy, is this great!
And welcome to yet another special edition of Horns Up, because every edition appears to be special. We put the special in special edition. We really do. It's the Lockstar Al Hirung and Jason Barham. And we are here with, since we already did the recap of last week, because with that special edition, this special edition, well, we're not going to recap last games. We're just going to look forward to we're going to probably look at the NFC playoff picture a bit and look forward to the Vikes-Bears X2 game, which should be pretty much the result of the first, but we'll get to that. What you drinking tonight, sir?
Just a good old cold dooski.
Cold dooski, hey?
Yep.
I'm still rocking
pretty hardcore tonight.
I'm still rocking my Minnesota Gold. I like this stuff. For a
Gold, honestly, I would be drinking something else, but that's all I got for tonight.
Well, for a Minnesota beer and for a cheap beer that's not off a macro label, because it comes from Third Street Brewery, it's not a bad little thing here. I'm kind of digging this groove. As long as they keep it that price, I'll be a fan. There you go. Anyways, we just finished Week 14 in the NFL. It's time to look forward to our playoff prospects. From what I've been reading, we're looking at, let's see, our major threats are New York and Tampa if they win tonight, and, of course, Seattle. It looks like Vikes and Seattle are pretty much a lock for the wild cards if the Vikes win at least one more game, which, considering next week, or this week, I should say, we are pretty much, we'll get to that again. What are you seeing in the NFC right now? What are you seeing when you look back and look around the NFC for the playoff picture? Looking back at how teams performed in Week 14, other than, of course, Seattle being obvious. What are you seeing? Are we seeing a resurgence of NFC teams, or are we seeing just more of maintaining the status quo or more muddying the waters? What you got going on in your brain?
I just see some desperate teams over there in the NFC side that are trying to see if one of the two wildcard teams that you already mentioned, Seattle and obviously us, Minnesota, if anyone will choke a game or two away for them to get involved in the serious playoff talk.
Right. Well,
Washington all won. New York won. Who else? There's one more. I can't think of off the top of my head.
Right. Well, I see us still winning.
Philadelphia.
Yeah, Philly. Yeah, the Beagles. Yeah. Seriously, I still see us at least as a wild card spot, because based on the competition we're working with, I don't think the Giants are going to pull magic out of their butt with Eli plus Odell. Odell's a great receiver. Make no mistake, but he is all they got. He kind of is. I see the Skins actually taking the NFC East, because as much as people diss on Cousins and as much as they're kind of a patchwork team, period, they seem to kind of work together to get the job done. I don't see us getting anything less than a wild card spot, but the division is still open, and it probably will come down to Week 17, tinfoil hat and all that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's tough.
Actually, this week could make that for sure happening. If Oakland beats the Packers and we beat the Bears, it's a guaranteed divisional game this week of the season.
It is. And if was I reading the statistics on VikeFans.com? Shout out to everybody out there. I was reading the statistics. If we pull one game, our chances go to 93% to win the division, to get a playoff spot. So it's almost a lock. It's everything but a lock if we win one game in the next three, and this week seems to be the game for that. Seattle is red hot right now. God, they're doing well. I would hate to play Seattle first round, but it might happen. I'm not sure the scenario that creates it at the moment because there's so many things up in the air. So it comes down to, really who's the main threats. And New York makes a case. Washington makes a case, because whoever wins the NFC East is going to get a playoff spot. And they're going to probably play the number 2 seed, right?
It would take a really goofy way to have everything end up for the Vikes to win the division and then would play Seattle because then they would have to be the 6th seed.
Right.
But Packers, the only way it could happen actually is Packers already played Seattle and they beat them, so they would get a tiebreaker on the head-to-head. Well, so if they finish the same record, I just don't see Seattle losing like 2 games.
Right. And if we win out, especially in Week 17, that means Week 17 and playoff Week 1, I think the Packers come to us then. We host them. Yeah, that would be what it would turn out to be.
Really, we would get 3 home games in the next 4 weeks, and technically.
Right. And I would personally enjoy seeing the Packers come into our house. That would be kind of fun. I think that would be an interesting thing to play them in Lambeau and beat them and then see them come to Minnesota. I mean, it would be almost like a bonus holiday, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Big thing, though, is the 3 seed is Seattle would either take out Arizona or Carolina. I have a feeling Seattle's going to make a run.
Yeah.
And let's say the Packers or Redskins, let's say they win.
Right.
And or we got to play Arizona, one of the 2. We could have a home game if it's Seattle and Minnesota then to go to the Super Bowl.
Well,
it's kind of a ways to get there.
I don't think it's even possible because, unless you drop Carolina from the playoffs, like Seattle would,
Seattle would play them, I think. Then we would have to go play Arizona at Arizona. And if we beat them, which we played obviously really good last week, but we lost. We all know everything about that game.
Yep.
But I would feel comfortable actually going back there and playing them for that game.
A little higher stakes.
Year, the inside weather, I think that bodes well with our offense.
It kind of does, but I think our offense is built for, the cold north. I don't think Zimmer's building offense for a turf show. There's no greatest show on turf with us. I don't think that's happening with our team ever. And so, it's not going to be as soon as we're outside, we're dead ducks.
I know. I'd like to see Diggs on that turf next year.
Well, everybody on that turf's going to be faster. Turf just makes you faster and makes your cut sharper, that kind of thing. It's just how it is, You're not sliding on frost or anything. But I don't think we're being built just to specialize in that. Because you get half your home games, right? But half your home games in your schedule. You got to win 75% of the rest to get a playoff spot nowadays, which is why, we have like half the NFC or more. 60-some% of the NFC is like below 500 for a reason.
Yeah, I just like the direction the team's going. Do I think we're going to the Super Bowl? No, but do I think we don't have a shot? No.
Right.
I like the coaching staff, and I like the bumps that we've already had to go through in the season. Well, it's a good learning lesson.
Tinfoil hat again time. I see us coming down to a Week 17 division game, as if we're going to win the division or not, right?
Yep.
And I see us being in the playoffs and maybe winning one game or at least giving it a damn good try. And then next year will be the game be the season in the new stadium that everybody says, okay, this is the time to watch the Vikes. Because we're not going to host a Super Bowl at home and win that one. That's just not going to happen in the NFL.
No, there's just no way.
Right. Yeah. They will pull every card out of the hat to make that not happen. But, with the new stadium and stuff, hey, man, I totally see them giving us the benefit of the doubt and maybe at least letting us make an appearance for once in 40 years. So, hey, why not?
We just got one of them good teams that the media like to kind of bring down this time of year. And that's what you want with that young team to kind of have that chip on your shoulders going forward. And Teddy, he's been really down on that last game.
Right.
And I think he's getting ready for that crunch time mode. Like, here we go, making a run. I think he's just got that quiet assassin to him. Deep down inside.
He does. Now, the physical skills been called into question this year, so we've got to think about that. But I don't think that's too much of a worry. I think that'll catch up. I really do. Because the throws he's being asked to make are not that difficult for an NFL quarterback. And the deep ball and stuff, I think that'll come together as he gets more chemistry with a set of wide receivers that he trusts.
Pretty much. I feel more confident with a guy that can make really good short and intermediate throws all over, even under high pressure. If a guy can do that, I'd rather have that than a guy that can just hit the long ball. I mean, how many long balls are you going to get in a game?
Well,
you can't consistently do that and you got to do everything really right.
Right. So you're saying you're a Ponder fan?
No. He couldn't even make the short throws. He was dropping them to the ankles.
The dead silence.
One or two hopping them.
The dead silence was priceless. Right. So yeah, that's kind of the lazy drunk man's way around the playoff picture. But of course, this is being the holiday weekend. We've got a little more something going on here. It's the holidays, so that means, of course. You can blame the Beast for this one. I asked him, hey man, we already recapped last week. What are we going to cover with? He said Star Wars. Are you going, man?
That didn't sound like Star Wars theme music to me.
Dude, that was that was Mecco Disco Star Wars, man. Come on, man. Get with the times.
That was like Boogie Nights or something going on there.
Well, yeah, man. It was the 70s. You never seen Disco Star Wars?
No, I never did. Maybe I'm too young for that.
You are so young, man. Because, Star Wars came out back in like 74, right? Or 78, 79. I can't remember what year it came out. I'm usually really good at remembering movie years, but for some reason that one's escaping me right now. That was totally a 70s film. And, so, of course, Mecco, being this band from France. Mecco. Yeah. Anyways. It is Star Wars week. Are you going though? Are you going to see?
I was expecting like that old school music coming from there. The dark side.
The original score.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, they might sue us for that. Mecco, I don't think is going to sue us because I'm not sure.
Yeah, this country is very sue happy, but I don't think they're going to take much money from us right now.
Right, exactly. Anyways, though, are you going to see it tonight or tomorrow?
No, I am not.
Yeah?
I don't even know if I'm going to go see it in the theater, even though I should. I'm sure reviews will be through the rough. Oh, you must see it. So I'll probably just let the crowd keep dying because how many times true Star Wars fans, they're going to see it once and then be like, oh, that was cool. No, they're going to go see it again. Well, so you got to wait a couple weeks and out the crowd a little.
Yeah, that's how it used to be, but now we got, home videos and internet and stuff like that, those technology things. And we can bring them moving pictures back to our house,
Oh, really? They might sue you for that.
Yeah, but but I don't think that's going to stop a lot of people. That's kind of the thing. I don't like watching those, by the way. I tried watching one. I can't remember what movie it was. There's some dude with a camera filming the screen. I was like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah,
who the fuck wants to watch this?
Man.
Yeah. I want to watch either the full res or I'll just wait and buy the DVD or the digital or whatever. I don't want to. Yeah, no. But something like this, you got to go see. It's a happening event because it's J.J. Abrams. It's not Lucas. Oh God.
Oh, it's not George Lucas?
No, dude, Lucas.
Right, so give me a little rundown here. I'm a little out of the loop.
Lucas got...
It's like other people that are a little out of the loop. Maybe they'll get a little tip on this too.
Dude, J.J. Abrams, the guy who rebooted the Star Trek franchise, right?
Yeah.
And that was a fun... for me, I'm not a Trekkie. I couldn't tell you who the hell was on anything after Next Generation. I have no idea, right? But
I love a Trekkie.
Yeah. Well, I've got friends, man. They can tell you what all characters
Shut your
actors.
Mouth.
Right?
You don't call me a Trekkie.
Yeah, well, all right, you may be. How many episodes of Voyager you watch?
Of what?
A Star Trek
exactly.
Voyager? Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly right. If you've watched more than one episode of Voyager, you're a Trekkie. because that was a terrible show. But yeah, so I'm not a Trekkie, but I liked the last that J.J. Abrams reboot, and I liked when I was a kid, when I was a younger lad, I should say. I liked the old, Star Trek 1 and 2 and 3, and I think maybe 4 or 5 or something. I can't remember how many there was, but those were enjoyable. I just never really got into the shows, that kind of thing. But Star Wars, man, when I was a kid, me and my buddy Taco, we'd reenact all of Star Wars, the original, the number 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, we knew it line by line. We knew all of them line by line. We knew everything about those guys, man. And that was before internet, where you could delve into Greedo's history or some bullshit like that. I mean, we just loved the movies because that was awesome. Then those prequels came out, and man, I could take a crap and it would be more entertaining. It was.
Yeah, I remember watching the movies, 4, 5, and 6. I know that much about it. And I was a younger lad too, and me and my dad, I got really into it too, but I never became that into Star Wars.
Right.
But I mean, still to this day, the movies still kick ass, even with the technology and
right. Tell me about it, man.
I mean, man, they were so ahead of their time, and they're still look better than some of the movies coming out today.
You're flipping through channels and you hit Spike TV during the Star Wars marathon. Tell me that's where you don't move from the couch the rest of the day. You just all right, I've got beer, I've got food. I'm hanging out here because I'm liking this right now. I've got an HD TV. Everything is great. Then the new ones come. Yeah, right.
What's that?
But then those new ones come on, the episode 1 to 3, and you're like, oh, fuck this. This is just terrible. I don't know who the hell wants to watch this crap. This is awful, awful television or movies this is really not entertaining at all. This is just terrible stuff. So,
So are these all based on books for 1 through 9, right?
Actually, the movies came out before the books in this case.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I thought the books came out first, and
well, you see, what happened with Star Wars was Lucas was a film guy, right? He was never a writer, as is should be obvious by now. And he came up with the ideas for Star Wars, and they changed a lot of the ideas for film. There was never, there was no such thing as a lightsaber in the original drafts, that kind of thing. And this is just stuff you pick up watching documentaries and stuff all the time. But, there was a lot of changes that were made. And Lucas in the first 2 films was barely involved. He never appeared on set. He had other people direct for him. It was just, he was almost not there. But as soon as the money started rolling in, he started getting more and more involved, and then you started getting Ewoks, and you started getting the Jar Jars, and all that other crap that's just merchandise fodder and disgusting and stupid. And that's what happened. And that's really the nutshell. The more Lucas is involved with the franchise, the worse it gets. Look at Indiana Jones was the same way. He's with Steven Spielberg, one of the greatest directors of our time. And the more he gets involved, the worse the movies gets. It's true. The Crystal Skull was almost all Lucas. Spielberg, he shut Spielberg out of so much stuff, and it turned out to be a turd. It was just a stanky, nasty turd. It was awful. But the first Indiana Jones, mostly Spielberg, awesome.
So they're 7, 8, 9 though, right?
Yep, that's what they're doing now. And this is 7. Yeah.
So you already know how it goes, and because you obviously read it, huh?
Actually, no, because they decided to kind of almost reboot all the stuff that happened after 6. So nobody really knows unless you've seen the movie. And if you've seen the movie, please don't spoil it for anybody who's watching this in the thread. At least give it a week or so before you start dropping spoilers. Real fans kind of hate that. I don't know how it goes. I know how the comics went, but they're not following the comics. They're kind of doing their own thing. When Disney bought out Lucasfilm, the Star Wars rights from Lucasfilm, they decided to go a completely new direction and make their own canon for it, you could say.
Kind of risky.
Kind of risky, but from what I've been reading, they've been following pretty much the formula of the original movies, which is a good one. I mean, hero's journey stuff, basic, easy stuff, nothing too out there.
I did hear one guy did a review. Well,
yeah?
Did a review on it.
Yeah?
Hit the wrong button here.
Oh, that's all right.
And he said it was just awful.
Really?
Yeah, he's like, I couldn't believe it. It was awful.
Well, was he a fan of the first 3 or the second 3?
he said he got to go watch it. I think it was actually on KFan with Paul Allen or one of the two guys up in the morning. He gets to watch the movies. I think he was honestly screwing with people.
Well, if it's like Meat Sauce or what's the other guy in there? I can't remember all the morning guys. There was Meat Sauce and there was Hockey seemed pretty reasonable. I can't remember the other guy though. The really cynical
Corey Cove.
Corey Cove, yeah. Yeah, he's real kind of a cynical bastard guy. Yeah, so it depends on which one was reviewing it, because if it was Corey, it would sound like crap no matter what it was. But if it was Meat Sauce, it would sound like you reviewing it, and if it was Hockey, it would actually be something you could actually understand. So, yeah. Yes, I just called you Meat Sauce.
All right. Well, let's get into
Let's get into it, yes. Let's get into next week's game. A little bit of football once again. We've taken up enough of your time with that because we're moving, because I'm seeing that movie tonight, so we got to push this. All right, Week 15. Us against the Bears. Do you see anything different from the last time we played the Bears?
Not really too much. They got two running backs going really good right now. Forte's coming back from the injury. He's kind of getting his legs back under him. Then they have the other guy carrying the load a little bit more, and he's actually coming on strong.
Yep.
But besides that, I'm really
Landry,
not seeing too much difference of matchmaking on both sides of the ball. We're probably not going to have Barr. If he's that kind of much iffy and he's got the groin injury that he's been saying, just screw it. Set him out this week. It's not an absolute must win in my book this week, but it's very, very important. But it's just not risk losing Barr for potentially 3-4 games, and then by then it's not even worth it anyways.
Right. Landry's got some bursts, but he doesn't have. He's not enough of a burst guy to make us fear him like Forte. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, we played against Landry last time, right? Because Forte was still injured.
No, Harrison actually was the one that injured him.
Right.
Injured him, I would say, towards the end of the third quarter, so we only really get to see the other guy for about a quarter on. And
Gotcha. So that's maybe a wild card we can throw in there. And then again, you've got Cutler, who has been really hot or really not this last month. And
story of his life.
Kind of, yeah, right. And he's just gone through some personal travails, and hate him or not, you got to cut a guy some slack for that. I mean, the dude's been through a lot in the last, 3 weeks? I mean, damn.
Yeah.
Another kid, somebody dying in the family. I mean, that's a lot to go through.
Yeah.
It's amazing how he has that face, though, that just seems like he doesn't care. That's almost a blessing in this case. I don't know what it is. He just has the resting. I guess if he was a chick, you'd call it resting bitch face, but he's just got the no more fucks to give face or something. I guess you.
Go ahead, say what you want.
Right. Yeah, but he handles his stuff, and when he's hot, when he's on, he's rough. He's rough. Now, do we have Harris back this week, right? Is what I'm hearing?
Everything's looking good for him to play on Sunday. He practiced Wednesday and also today. Even Linville Joseph was a participant today for the first time.
Good.
Practice.
Bonus.
Everson Griffin is banged up a little bit with a shoulder injury. Probably the same thing that he's been dealing with, I don't know, I'd say about half the season now. He says it's a stinger, and I'm starting to wonder if there's actually an injury kind of going deeper with him that might need surgery at the end of the year, but he's just toughing it out.
Right.
He ain't having the season that he had last year. Yeah, sack numbers were up. I know sack numbers can be over-evaluated sometimes, but I'm just not seeing the same exact Griffin as I seen last year. I think something's screwing with him.
if it's a left shoulder thing, we saw the same thing with Jared Allen. Remember, he had the left shoulder.
I was just going to say it's a labrum injury.
Right. I think.
And I wonder if I'm just kind of curious if that's what possibly is going on with Griffin.
Well, I'm glad in that case too that we brought back Trotto, because he's pretty beastly when he gets his game on, and
I thought he was doing great early on training camp in the first quarter of the season until he got hurt.
Yep, I think it's just a matter of time for him till he catches up to the game, or the game slows down, however you want to put it. I think it's just a matter of time, and he's going to be a tremendous diamond in the rough for either us, or if we're dumb, some other team.
We have a really solid rotation there. You'd have Griffin and Robeson.
Right.
Then you got Daniil Hunter, who's turning into be
a solid performer.
Great pick for a guy that was so raw coming out of college, but a freak athlete and just a freak human being.
Right.
And then Trotto, just like you're talking about, he made an impact early on in the season, looking to be fitting great in the Zimmer scheme so far, but then he had an injury come up, and everybody says that I've read that he's healthy and ready to go again.
Right. Yep, exactly. And I think he might be somebody we end up locking onto the slot here. I mean, maybe we have to make a roster slot for him, because there's plenty of other dead weight we're carrying we can drop. But that being said, anyway, as far as next week goes, it'll be interesting because he's probably going to see some snaps, and we're going to see Johnson getting snaps again too, because I think Sharif is still out. Yeah.
I thought it was kind of interesting though that we worked out a couple of D tackles yesterday, so it was kind of making me worried that Linville wasn't going to play and he might be out longer. But you practiced today. One of the guys is big Phil Taylor.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Another nose tackle type of guy.
Yeah, if you think about it, Joseph, he might be able to play, but they might not keep him in full rotation. So you need another. If you want to run stuffer, especially against a team like the Bears, you need somebody who can actually just take up space, like a Taylor, a Fat Pat stereotype, or a Bob Golick.
Pretty much, but he's way younger than I thought. He's only been in the league since 2011. For some reason, I thought the guy's like 10-year vet already, but he's our young player. He was coming off a knee injury, and a lot of teams brought him in for workouts, but no one ever ended up signing him. So
it's all
kind of a red flag there. I thought maybe that'd be a good steal of a pick, because he should be healthy by now.
It's possible.
You get two big guys like Linville and Phil Taylor, and then you got Tom Johnson and Sharif Floyd. That's a hell of a 4-pack of D tackles right there.
It's a tough thing to match up against, because all those guys take up space, and when they take up space, they suck up double teams and leave your ends to just do lots of damage. And that's I think what we're designing for. It's more of a scheme defense. It's not. You don't need Warren Sapp. You need somebody who can do his job, and you let the defense work as a whole. I think that's what we're doing.
I mean, it sounds so cliche, but really, that's what it comes down to. If all 11 guys do their job at a high level, that, like I talk like myself, like I'm the coach, that I ask you to do, and we game plan for, we should win the game.
Right.
But it's really so hard when you get 11 people all on the same page winning every matchup. I mean...
Right. Exactly. And even if some don't win their matchup, as long as you maintain your position and fulfill your role, you don't have to win every matchup. It just has to be a matter of, did you fulfill your role and the defensive work? And that's the scheme we're operating under right now. That being said, wow, we are going through this so quick tonight. We're not just sitting here going, oh my God, I want another beer. But that being said, that's the wrong bump, but we'll take it. Final score prediction for you, sir. Vikings Bears week 15. What are you thinking?
I am thinking 27-21 Vikes.
All right, 27-21. All right, I'm gonna go a little more positive. I'm thinking 28-13. I think we hold them to a touchdown and 2 field goals tops. Well, I think that even with our defense banged up as it is, we were against the number one offense in the league last week, and we held them to 20 points. And the Bears are not anywhere near that.
Yeah, a couple little tidbits before we end the show.
Sure.
One very interesting stat that I heard this week was, as much as we are down on the Vikings offensive line, obviously it's because they've struggled a lot.
Yep.
But I tell you what, they've faced 7 of the top 10 defensive lines this year already.
Right.
So
wow,
they have gone up against top-notch, people and teams already. So what you've already seen is nothing but good things for them going forward, because you don't want a team going in the playoffs that been playing low half of the league,
Right, exactly.
You want a tough team that's been playing against good competition and playoff ready, that you want to be that playoff tough.
Amen.
And another thing is, the last 3 weeks of the season, as of tonight, 17 days left of the regular season. I can't believe it.
Wow.
The training camp was not too long ago.
It seems so short.
I'm just trying to enjoy what we got left. I think Vikings and Vike fans and everybody out there, we're going to have a good 3 to 5 week run here.
Amen. Amen, sir.
So enjoy it. And everybody out there, have a Merry Christmas.
Amen. Amen again. Amen X2 for that one, sir. If I had my dingy bell thing up, I would give it to you and another 15 seconds. But hey, you know what? You said it all right there. There's nothing to add.
Happy Star Wars night.
Happy Star Wars night. Happy holidays. Yes, we got a really tough last 3 weeks here. And let's not kid each other. The Bears are always going to be tough because division opponents are always bringing their A game. That's just how it is. But we're going to try and finish out this season. And man, seriously, if you would have said we're going to be 8-5 right now, nobody would have believed you. Nobody. People would be saying, we got to make up those last 3 games to get to 8-5. No, we've been doing way more than anyone expected. We've been playing team ball. It's been a great experience this year. God, it seems so short, though. I'm just crying inside now thinking about that. But man, yeah. Enjoy those last 3 weeks, man. Enjoy your holidays. Enjoy some purple and gold games, man. And enjoy some fine beverages, whatever it is it takes. Get out and ring some bells for the Sally. It's all good stuff. All good stuff. You said it awesome, man. You did. You nailed that one.
I know. I think you topped me out, but I think it sounded good.
It did. It really did sound good. That was the perfect message, man. We got 3 weeks left. Enjoy it. Doesn't matter how far we go. We're already over expectation. And we are at the end of our show. Look at that, man. Another short one in the bank. We've been doing really good. Getting drive time shows, man. Yeah.
Get to the point. Let's get with it. Let's go.
Right. Those drive time shows down so people can listen to them on the way home. And yeah, man. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you in week 16. Merry Christmas to everybody, because I think, let's see, we might have... we might have time for one before Christmas, because that's Wednesday's the 23rd, right? Yeah, so we might...
Yeah, I'm going to a little vacation Thursday to Saturday, so if we would do anything, we would do it, I guess, Wednesday night, so...
Yeah, we might have a Christmas
show in real quick.
There you go. That works. Yeah. All right. We'll see you next week, ladies and gentlemen. It's been another episode of Horns Up with Al, the Lockstar Hireling, Jason,
the Beast,
Barham. We'll see you next week. Take care.